When did Roddie Bryan know the McMichaels brought guns? When did Roddie Bryan know Travis McMichael would shoot Mr. Arbery? And at that point, what could Roddie Bryan have done to stop it? The inconvenient truth is that Roddie Bryan did not know and could not know that these men were armed until moments before Mr. Arbery's tragic death. He did not know and could not know that Arbery would be shot. And by that time, sadly, there was nothing Roddie Bryan could do to prevent this tragedy. Roddie Bryan didn't shoot anyone. At the time of the shooting, he was some distance back. He was armed only with his cell phone. Isn't it time, ladies and gentlemen, that we send Roddie Bryan home? Roddie Bryan fully cooperated with the police. He's given several different statements. He's provided the now famous video that you've seen so many times and probably will again before we're done. Roddy provided his cell phone multiple times. He signed all kinds of consent forms. He gives them access to his truck. He gives them the night owl videos from his house, the videos that had been overlooked in the canvassing of the neighborhood because he was down at the police station. He gives them his social media. He gives them his Facebook. Ladies and gentlemen, without Roddie Bryan, there is no case. You will have to decide what justice looks like between the McMichaels and Mr. Arbery, between the McMichaels and the Arbery family. But the reason that you can do so, the reason that we can have this trial, is because of Roddie Bryan. Roddie's decision to cooperate with law enforcement to help them discover the truth about the events of February 23rd, 2020, is not the product of slick lawyering. Roddie Bryan had no lawyer on the side of the road in the minutes after Ahmaud Arbery was shot. It was not some lawyer. It was Roddie Bryan, without any lawyer, without any help, without any assistance, making that decision on his own. Roddie Bryan made the choice. Roddie Bryan decided to invite Officer Minshew to sit with him in his truck, even before Roddie Bryan has a chance to look at the video himself. All this, again, without a lawyer. These actions, ladies and gentlemen, demonstrate good faith. His conduct negatives any inference of criminal intent. Who is Roddie Bryan? Roddy never served his country like Travis McMichael. Roddy never served his community like Greg McMichael. Roddy is a quiet man. Roddy repairs small engines at the local hardware store. Roddy knows most of the English language, or so he believes. Roddie Bryan keeps to himself. His neighbors don't really even know who he is, even though he's lived in the neighborhood for 3 years. Roddy is not boastful or a braggart. He is not loud or boisterous. He is not an attention seeker. Roddy tries to avoid bad language, not always successfully. Roddy is respectful. He's an ordinary guy, a regular guy. Roddie Bryan is no vigilante. There's no evidence of that. Roddy isn't running around Satilla Shores with guns, openly carried in broad daylight. He didn't even bother to report the theft of his own trailer. After all, it's just stuff. That's what insurance is for. The Amish have a saying, what you take into your hand, you take into your heart. Roddie Bryan grabbed his cell phone. That's not intended as a comment upon anyone else, but that's just who Roddy is. What else does the evidence tell us about Roddie Bryan? Is Roddie Bryan the smartest guy in the room? Is he like some kind of rocket scientist? In these interviews that Mr. Bryan gives to the police, is there some clever wordplay like Mr. Bryan is smarter than everybody else? Is that what the evidence suggests in this case? The evidence suggests that Roddie Bryan legitimately struggles to find the right words, that Roddy struggles at times to convey the meaning, the truth behind those words. There is no evidence that he is a wordsmith